Alright, so the video I posted earlier had no sound, so here is my recording of the sound, hopefully. So the first thing I want to talk about is filling out the beginning of the worksheet. And so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to put our heading in. And remember, it's the who, the what, and the when. With regards to my first line is the who, what's the name of the company that goes up on the first line, everything centered. The what is what document are we working on? Well, this is our worksheet, so therefore it's just going to be worksheet. And then finally, the when. What time period is this covering? Remember, for the worksheet, it's not just the date. It is for the month ended, for the period ended, for the year ended, whatever it is, it will tell you in the question, and then that date. So for the month ended September 30th, 2018. Because I'm going off of this information down here, it says the general ledger accounts and their ending balances for the Greenleaf Appliance Repair Center are listed below. Complete the worksheet for the month ended September 30th. So that's why I put for the month ended September 30th, 2018. So, next up, I have all of these accounts given. In my worksheet, I have to include every account, even those with a zero balance. My only one with a zero balance here is income summary. There's a zero balance right there, but it's still included in my worksheet. That's important to understand. Next up, I need to put all of my account numbers on the left, so I got up to 210. Obviously, you would keep on going. And then I have all of my account names right next to it, ending with utilities expense, that's my last one. And then it's important to understand, does each account have a normal balance on the debit side or credit side? So I write them if they have a normal balance on the debit side on the left column, and if it's a normal balance credit on the right column. When you're done with the trial balance, they should be equal. If they are not, we've done something wrong. The next thing I want to look at in my trial balance column is my two dashes right here. Remember, income summary does not have a normal balance. If I have a net income and a net loss, it would vary on if it's a debit or credit balance. So I put a line on both sides of those income summaries. For this chapter, your income summary will always have no balance every single time. Down here, draw an arrow. I've got this single rule, and remember that single rule means that everything above it is done. I need to add them up or total up those columns, and when I do it, my columns are totaled and equal, so I can put a double rule underneath right here, showing I am done with these columns. At that point, it's important to understand where we're going to extend these balances over. The income summary account, this one right here, this line, is my breaking point. Everything above it, so cash and bank down to withdrawals, all goes over, extended over to my balance sheet. If it was a debit in my trial balance, it's a debit in my balance sheet column. If it's a credit in my trial balance, it's a credit in my balance sheet column. Then everything below income summary, so my temporary accounts, my expenses and expenses and my revenues get moved over to income statement. Again, credit in trial balance, credit in income statement, debit in trial balance, debit in income statement. Your income statement debit and credit columns and your balance sheet debit and credit columns will not be equal. They should not be. Now, 1% of the time down the road when you get to business classes, it could be equal. That means they just broke even, but that is very rarely going to happen. So expect them to be different. The difference between the credit column and the debit column in my income statement should be the exact difference between the debit column and the credit column in my balance sheet. The difference between those is my net income and my net loss. If my credits in my income statement, which is $9,506.54, are greater than the debits, which is $5,375.56, which it is in this case, I have a net income, so I'm going to write net income in this spot. You skip a line after your last account and write net income, and then the total goes in the debit column of my income statement if it's a net income to make these two, the debit and credit, right here, make these equal, and then it goes in the credit of my balance sheet, again, making these two columns equal. If it was a net loss, it would go in this spot and in this spot, again, making those columns equal. After you've added the 4,130.98 to the 5,375.56, our balances are equal, which means we're done. So I can draw a double line right here under both, showing that I have completed this. This is what I'll expect you to complete first thing when we get back on the 16th after Easter break. I hope the Chapter 8 Part 2 assignment went well. It looks like I'm still waiting for 2 people to finish it. So if you're still working on it, please do so. Other than that, enjoy this time off. Enjoy time with family. Please, if you haven't heard, this is the biggest time period to be staying inside and social distancing. A few more weeks, and hopefully, fingers crossed, this will be over and we can move back on with our normal lives. Have a great day.